And the recent protests nationwide have put the spotlight on systemic racism in America. George Floyd's tragic interaction with police has also demonstrated the importance of a conversation that is happening in many black homes. NBC5's Christian Farr continues our Race in Chicago series with a story about something that is simply called the talk.
The talk really is a survival lesson.
In the wake of what happened to George Floyd in Minneapolis.
The talk is a way to not just survive a police interaction, it's a way to get back home safe and sound.
Jacob Blake in Kenosha.
When you deal with the police, the guy with the gun is the guy in charge.
And even Laquan McDonald here in Chicago, a ritual surrounding these types of incidents has once again demonstrated its importance in black households.
Growing up on the South Side, we had to have this conversation about the potential criminalization of my very skin color.
Dr. Nicholas Pierce is a professor of Northwestern's Kellogg School of Management, and he is very familiar with something simply called the talk, a decades-old conversation usually between black fathers and their sons about how to handle an interaction with police.
It is simply to say that there are other people who have issues with black and brown skin, and their biases against us oftentimes result in discriminatory practice, which can be either life-threatening or completely life-taking.
The talk might simply be telling a young man of color to keep his hands on the wheel when he's pulled over by police, or to not reach for anything until he talks to an officer first. And one of the most important lessons might be to know when to fight back.
We cannot replicate activities and things that we might see other non-blacks do. And we might see people complain and say, give me your badge number, and I demand you let me go, you've done nothing wrong. We cannot act that way.
Kellogg adjunct lecturer Dr. William Towns says these interactions,
okay, sir, can you step up for me, please?
Usually between a black person and a white officer, are not about being right, but instead about making it home alive.
It was no fun being thrown in the back of a squad car and taken and then put in a jail cell.
Art Turner knows the talk well because he received it from his own father and gave the talk to his children.
When I was told to get out of the car, I got out of the car. When I was told to put my hands behind my back, I put the hands behind my back.
Last month, the former state representative says a case of mistaken identity by Chicago police led to him being arrested during a traffic stop. Turner says the color of his skin caused those officers not to listen to his repeated denials, even when he told them that the suspect they were looking for was 35 years younger.
90% of the time, when that's black and white, I do know that you have to take a different approach. I mean, even in shopping, when I go into a store, I know that I'm being watched as I walk around the store.
And while there seems to be an acknowledgement of systemic racism in this country, Dr. Towns says there is pushback from those who do not believe it exists.
We've had the first black president. We've had these sort of monumental sort of achievements, yet we somehow still seem to slide back. And so the talk becomes incredibly important.
In Evanston, Christian Farr, NBC5 News.
Such an important perspective. So many white people just grab the license and registration, not even think about it.
Right, and it can be different for black families, as we have seen, unfortunately, all too often. Thanks to Christian Farr for that important story.